Hey everyone, and welcome to today's episode where we have got two jobs that we need to do. Job number one, I've got to get rid of the terrible smell that's in the Leon, the Seat Leon. Since buying the Leon, it smells of cigarette smoke and dog. Really terrible smell. I now have a third problem that I need to resolve, which is mold. Terrible mold. The car has got a leak in it. There's water in there. It's mixed up with the bacteria, the smells, etc. in the car, and it just grows mold. No matter how much I clean it, can't get rid of it. So that is what we got to get rid of today. So let's start today's episode. Okay, so the other job that I've got to do is I'm going to replace the motor, the wiper motor in the TT. I've been testing it for the last few days and it's just not working. So got to get rid of it. So I'm going to show you the process on how to get the motor out of the car if you have a Mark II TT, because it's a little bit easier than the Mark I. And then after that, I'm going to have to replace it because it's just inconsistent. I think I know why the motor has failed, and I'm going to show you, because this is something that's quite important that I didn't realize myself until I saw it, and there was a few posts I saw on the TT forum that helped in diagnosing what has caused the issue in the first place. So yeah, let's get on the way. Let's get those things done. So first of all, we're going to clear the smell from the car, and how we're going to use that, I'm going to show you a really good device in a moment, because getting rid of smells in cars is probably one of the most difficult things that you can do. How do you get rid of smells in cars? Well, if you go online, you'll see various remedies that you can use, such as deodorants for a start, but they don't really work. And I've seen those little bombs, you know, the ones that you they kind of like go off in the car, and they're what they are, they're like a detergent, and they go off in the car. You seal the car up and you run your AC for a period of time, and then when you get in the car it smells pleasant. Well, they only last for a few weeks, if that. And the reason why is because you need to understand the chemical composition of smells. Smells in the car are bacteria. That's what they are. So we recognize a bad smell, and really what it is, it's something rotting away, and the bacteria is thriving on other bacteria, and it will live off that. And as long as that bacteria is in the car, it's always going to give off a smell. And that's one of the reasons why you have a shower each day. You do have a shower each day, don't you? Good. Okay. So and in cars it's no different, except for we don't wash our cars interior every day. And if you have animals in the cars, you'll eventually start getting this like doggy smell, they call it, and that's what this car has as well. And also tobacco, the smell from tobacco, that will remain in the car for a long time, and if people keep on smoking in the car, then it's very difficult to get out. So how do you get rid of smells in cars? Well, you use an ozone generator. So what's an ozone generator? I'm going to show you one in a second. But an ozone generator, what it does is it creates ozone in a small confined space. The one I have is a commercial one, but you can buy them on Amazon, and I'll put a link below in the description where you can find and buy the one that I'm using. But the way it works is ozone is 3 oxygen molecules. And normally we breathe oxygen, it contains 2 oxygen molecules, and we're fine. Add a third one and it becomes a toxic gas. And what it does is it will break into the membrane of any molecule, be it a bacteria, a mold, fungus. And once it breaks that molecule, it basically kills that cell. It's just like cutting your skin, having a severe hole in your skin. If you don't treat that after a while, it will become infected, and then you could potentially die. Well, the ozone, it basically goes into those molecules and just creates holes and essentially kills the cell. Once the cell dies, it no longer gives off the bad odor. And that's why ozone generators are the most effective way of cleaning cars or getting rid of smells in the cars. Now, here's a warning, and this is very important. If you use an ozone generator, because of what it does to germs, it will also do the same to you. So if you breathe in large doses of ozone, it can be very hazardous to your health, possibly leading to death with prolonged exposure, that is. Also, if you have any plant life in the car or animals, it will do the same to them, because it will literally, the ozone gas will destroy the cells of any living, breathing creature. So it's very important, if you have your favorite plant in the car, that you take it away and it's not in the car, and you don't go back into the vehicle for at least half an hour. Well, actually I would say a good hour. Once you've done the treatment, leave the windows open, let the air dissipate, because ozone, once it dissipates into it breaks down back into oxygen again and becomes harmless. So yeah, that's exactly how we're going to do it, and that's how the process works. So let's go now to the car. Let me show you the machine first of all, and then let's mount it in the car. Now I'm gonna pull it. It's gonna be, the way to get the best use of this generator is you need to allow the generator to suck in oxygen. It will then create the ozone on the other side, and the more oxygen it has, the better. So I've seen a couple of videos where people put the generator in the car and seal it off. That's not the most efficient way of doing it. The best way is for it to have oxygen, pure oxygen coming in through the back, and then it creates the ozone inside, and that's the best way. So we're going to do that, and we're going to put some card and tape up. It's going to look ugly, but trust me, it will produce the results that we want. So let's go and take a look at the car now. I've given it a little bit of a clean, so it's in a better state, but it does still smell. And I'm going to see if we've got any additional mold from the last time I cleaned it up. So let's go and take a look at that now. Okay, so here's our generator. So this is made from a company called Concise Home. It's they do two models. They do a 3,500 and a 7,000. This is a 7,000 model, which is 7,000 bits per minute. So it's basically a high valued unit in terms of the way it works and the way it operates. Operation is very simple. Turn the device on, and then set how much time you want, and then it's a timer. After it gets to the end of the timer, it will automatically turn off. Okay. Construction, very simple. You have a fan that draws in the oxygen through here, then it obviously blows out here, and then it works. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to set this timer for about 60 minutes, which is going to be ample. I'm probably going to need to do this twice, because this attempt that I'm going to do, I'm just going to have the not going to turn the AC on the fan, so it's not going to treat anything that's in the vents. We'll do that a second occasion, because I know it's quite bad. So let's get this in the car. When I put this in the car, it's going to look very undignified. I'm going to have to put all tape around it and everything. But in order for me to get this to work, basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this, it's going to stick halfway out the window, and then I'm going to put a card all around it, so that at least this vent is sucking in pure clean air, and then this is pumping ozone into the car. That's the most efficient way. Ozone's quite a heavy gas, so it will go straight to the floor and then build up. So if you have it at a high point, at least we know we're going to get everything covered. So let's get this hooked up in the car now, and then we can get it doing its thing. Okay, so we're at the car, and as you can see, hopefully you can see the mold that's come up in the car. This has only come up in the last week. Now I cleaned this last week, and you can see it's also going, well, you probably can't, but it's also going on the dash as well. It just gets everywhere, and I think it's just got to a point where I need to put the ozone in to kill it now. So, and it's all in the front as well. So all that there that I'm pointing to, that's mold. That's just come in the car in the last couple of weeks, and it's because there's water in the car, and we just can't get rid of it, and it's reacting to the bacteria, so it's creating mold. So I need to kill that mold in order for me to be able to stand the chance and clean the car and for it to look good. Right, let's get this all hooked up and let's start this process. And yes, the car does stink. Open the door, you just get hit by the smell of tobacco and dog. It's just not pleasant at all. Okay, let's get this done. Okay, so after all that palaver, we got it in. The window has dropped, so I've had to put a screwdriver to wedge it in place, but not too bothered at this stage because all the mechanism in the door has to come out, so might as well start with that. So now this is what we've got to do. We've got to set the machine. So I need to just set the timer for 60 minutes. Oh, that'll be the horn. Actually, it's on 80, but no, it's not. Turn that to 80. 60 minutes. And I'm going to turn it on. Okay, so that's now all set. Okay. So I'm going to take the key out of the ignition. Close this door. Close this boot. Make sure my jacket isn't caught up in it. And now the last thing that I have to do is plug it in. So I will do that now, and then we should be all set to go. Okay, so we'll leave that to simmer on gas mark 8 for the next 60 minutes, and then we'll come back and see if it's made a difference in the car, which I know it will, and yeah, report back in 1 hour. Okay, so while that ozone generator is doing its bit, let's concentrate on the good old TT. Yes, trusty TT is still here, just been hibernating in the garage, and been having an issue with the windscreen wipers on and off, just sporadic. So I've determined that really I need to change the motor. So let's get this motor off, the windscreen wiper motor, so we can get that replaced. To do that, we're going to be using a variety of tools. You can see up here, I've got my wiper motor or wiper arm pulleys. You need these. That's going to help me take that off, and then after that we then will reduce or take the nuts off, take the motor out, and then we're going to go and get a replacement. So while I'm gonna see if I can get a replacement today down TPS if they got one in stock. If they haven't got one, then we'll just have to order one online. So while that happens, I'm afraid the old TT is going to have to stay in the garage, but hopefully that won't be the case. But in the meantime, we do need to get these wiper motors off, so let's go and do that right now. Okay, so here's our motor. There are 4 bolts here that are securing the motor to the actual remote mechanism arm. So I'm going to see if I can get the motor as a separate item. If not, then I'm going to have to order one on eBay or something. But let's see if TPS have got one in stock. If they've got one in stock, brilliant, I'll get one from that, replace it, and then that should be it. Okay, but there's a reason why I think the motor has gone, and I'm going to show you. Okay, so this is the area where the motor resides. Now if you notice, it's quite dirty. It's and it shouldn't be dirty. So I think what's happened, there's a little drain plug down here in the corner. You probably can't see it, but down there, so we can get the camera down there, that here is a drain plug, and I think that that's been blocked, and that's the reason why and I think water has gathered here, because if you look, you can actually see there's a kind of a water line, and I think water, you can see it, just see the faint there, and that is high enough to submerge the motor. So I think the motor has been damaged by water ingestion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear that hole. You can stick a metal rod down there, and then that should just be enough to clear the rod. So that's just something for you all to be aware of, that you do need to be make sure that that area is clear. If you have any issues with water, if you see that looking discolored, that tray, clear out that drain plug. Right, that is that.
The next morning.
Okay, so it's the next day and I'm gonna check the Seat to see how it smells. Does it smell any different? Should do. It's had an hour's worth of ozone. Although I do think I'm gonna have to give it 2 treatments, but let's go and see. Okay, let's go and open up the car and let's have a smell. Okay, so how does it smell? There's a metallic smell on the car, but the tobacco smell and the dog smell is definitely gone. So it's done a trick. I think it does need another going over, because there's still a scent in the car, but it's definitely nothing like it used to be. It really is different. So that is a thumbs up. Like I said, best way to get rid of dog smells in the car or tobacco smells, use an ozone meter. Yeah, I am really impressed with that. So the car just needs a really good clean up now inside, and I think it'll be in a much better place. But wow, if YouTube had smell-o-vision, you'll really see the difference here. So very, very happy with that. So I'll give it another going over the week. But I think, and at this time what I'll do is I'll have the AC on. I'll turn the AC on and have it on recirculation, so it gets in all the vents, and that way it will get a good clean out, and I think that'll be it. Okay, so that's it for this week. So I will put a link below for the ozone machine so you can see where to buy that. You can get it from Amazon, costs around £59, maybe slightly more. But if you want to get rid of any smells in your car, that's the only real route you should go. Anything else doesn't compare in comparison. Does a really good job. I'm gonna go and do it again in the car in the next couple of weeks or so, just because I didn't run the AC at the time, and I want it to really go throughout the whole system so it will flush out any bad smells that may still reside, because bacteria gets everywhere, so you need to make sure you clear everywhere. So we'll run it again in the next couple of weeks, and that will give it a final clear out. And also what I'm going to do is take the seats out as well, so I can give the car a thorough cleaning, because that carpet is absolutely filthy and does need to be thoroughly cleaned. Good, right, so that's that. Next week we have a bit of a dilemma, and you, the viewer, you're going to get to decide which way we go. So next week I've got the steering components coming for the car. So I've got the steering rack coming and the other door. So do I fit that onto the Seat, or do we take a little bit of a diversion and we look at VCDS versus OBD11? I want to do a side-by-side comparison of the 2 different products, so pricing, the general things that the general home mechanic will do, and see which one is best and which one is good or best for value. So do I do that instead as a slight diversion? You decide. So if you want to see me carry on with the Seat, put comments down below. However, if you want me to do the OBD11 versus VCDS video, put that down in the comments below. So whoever comes up with the highest votes, that's the video that we'll put out next week, and then the following week we'll carry on with the Seat. So in terms of the subject car, we'll use the old trusty TT. That is a little bit sad at the moment because I've got the wiper motor taken out of it. Gonna have to replace that, as I said earlier on, and so that's going to generate a fault, so we'll be able to use that as part of our test subject, as well as using my A4 as well. We'll see what kind of things that we do. So once again, you decide. So thank you for viewing this week, guys. Don't forget, as usual, to subscribe down here. Really helps out, and thank you for all the support we've been getting over the last few weeks. My subscribers rate is going up fantastically, which is great. That's exactly what I want to see, and it also helps get the name out there. So again, if you got any friends who are into this kind of work in terms of doing up cars, etc., let them know, and let's keep that momentum going. So have a good week, guys, and I will look forward to see you next Monday.